I'm a bohemian. I do not plan ahead. And I recommend you don't plan ahead either. That is what I would consider to be verboten in business. Business, you're supposed to plan ahead. And for a lot of companies, planning ahead is very important. For my business, not so much. I stopped planning ahead when I figured out how my business was growing. It took me about 13 years to realize it, but over time I realized that planning ahead had virtually no value for my business. And when I read William Shatner's book, Shatner Rules, his number one rule is say yes. He talks about after Star Trek, he planned to obliterate this typecast of being a Captain Kirk, the captain of the Starship Enterprise. He wanted to get rid of that role. He felt it was somewhat beneath him. He'd moved on. He wanted to get more challenging experiences. And at the time when it finished broadcasting, I think after 3 seasons, he of course had no idea what was waiting for him around the corner, because he thought this was just past, gone. But he kept saying yes to opportunities. Opportunities like TJ, I forget the name of that show. He was a cop. And he said yes to somebody wanting to record an album of his. I think Transformer Man was the name of it. He was asked to do commercials. He was asked to do comedy. And then when somebody came to him and offered him a role on Boston Legal, his plan was, I don't really want to do that. Don't want to be tied down to a show. I have to go there every week or every day. And 2 or 3 Emmys later, Shatner's observations, and he's pretty old, so I'll take his advice any day. He says, take what comes to you. Say yes. See everything as an opportunity. You never know. Now that's what I mean when I say stop planning ahead. When you plan ahead, it does the same thing as goals do. It tends to interfere with your experience of what's happening right now and all the opportunities that are right beside you. Stop planning ahead and start responding. Now, I'm just going to tell you some stories about my own business, planning ahead. So my plan when I first started to go out on my own as a consultant was to work in the IT field, particularly software, and write user guides. Now, I had no idea, but that was just not in the plan for me. Something else was planning this for me. As I said, my first gig was to write a mission statement for a feminist organization. My second gig was to write a guide for a women's shelter. My third gig was to write a guide for the disabled women's organization called Disabled Women's Network of Ontario. And from there, I have done so many things that are related to my talents and skills. And I've done so many things that are not really down my supposed career path. So, in slow times, when I didn't have a contract, a professional contract as a consultant, I would look around for other work that I could get. Temp work. Has anybody here had temp work? Has anybody here done things on the side that have nothing to do with their career path? And my recommendation is, if you haven't, go for it. You go through slow times, somebody has a gig for you that, you might consider below you, go for it. Say yes. Do what Shatner does, because this is how Shatner became so successful. He said yes. I've done ghostwriting for books. I've done advertising and copywriting for websites. I've done user guides for IT firms, and it was horribly boring. And as a temp worker, I used to work in downtown Toronto in my slow times, and I would take on secretarial jobs. Well, guess what happened? The companies who hired me as a secretary for 4 days or 2 weeks or 1 month or 2 months ended up hiring me as a communications consultant because I did such good work. I sniffed around, I looked around to see what the opportunities were. I made good friendships with the people I worked with. They were very impressed with me. That's what saying yes is all about. That's what responding is all about. Now, what this brings to your life is variety. It also brings that into your work, but most important, and we will get to this in the next video, responding to opportunities brings you into contact with people. People who could be absolutely critical to the next step in your business and to success. Now, let me just divert for a second and talk about success. What is success? Success is not something that happens down the road after you've worked really, really hard at it. Success is right now. Success is what's happening right now. If you are sitting doing something that you consider to be not your line of work, not your level of income that you want, you can still find success. You can be happy while you're doing it. You can enjoy it while you're doing it. If you don't enjoy it, get out. We'll get to that in a minute. The most important, I would say one of the biggest benefits of responding to opportunities is you invite variety into your life, and variety is a beautiful thing. Opportunities that it brings into your life, opportunities that you could never think of, you could never imagine until they happen to you. Brings people into your life the same way. Robert Service, the author of Ballads of a Bohemian, yes, this is my book. Here's what he says about responding instead of planning, and all about variety and higgledy-piggledy and hodgepodge life. Such is the life of Bohemia. Up and down, fast and feast, its very uncertainty is its charm. Higgledy-piggledy, hodgepodge. That's the Bohemian business life. So you're responding to circumstances, responding to invitations, and responding to people. Planning, that can take a second seat. Your plans can go all over the place. Life happens when you're making other plans. That's just the way it works. I'm going to give you 7, actually probably 8 ways to respond and to make the most of your responses. If you get an invitation to do something, and it's something that you can do, that you're able to do, make it quick. Respond quickly. Respond right away. Don't wait. Don't sit around and wonder and maybe if I'm too quick, I'll look too eager. No. People who invite you to do things, they like it when you respond quickly. Otherwise, you look kind of like a sluggard. Like if you're not really interested, then they might not be interested in you. Now, this is only if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't respond. Or you can respond and say, man, I like that. Thank you very much for that invitation. I won't be able to do it, but keep me in mind. I really appreciate it. Quick. Keep your response quick. Number 2, say thank you. Be grateful and show your gratitude. It doesn't matter if you just say thank you. Thank you very much for that invitation. I really appreciate you thinking about me. Number 3, when you respond, be open. It might be that the invitation doesn't really correspond with something that you are able to do or willing to do. But maybe it's not all the information is there for you when you first receive that invite. Be open to what might be in it for you. Look for anything that might be in it for you and be open. And if you do accept the invitation and you do the gig, whether it's 1 day or 1 year or 2 years or 6 years, be open to all the opportunities that are within that activity for you. Number 4, do your best. Do your absolute best at whatever it is. If it's in your line of work or if it's not in your line of work, if you're talented at it, if you're gifted at it, if you're skilled at it, do your best. Number 5, watch. Watch what happens. Look around you. Observe what's going on around you. Who's doing what, how they're doing it. You know, if you've got an opportunity to go into the lunchroom and be with people you've never met, see what they talk about. Listen. Find out what's going on around you. And again, stay open. Opportunities will arise. Number 6, find out what you like and what you don't like. So, after you've accepted an invitation to work for somebody or do something, you might find out you don't like it. In fact, you can't stand it. It could be the work you can't stand. It could be the people you can't stand. If so, get out. Quit. Don't stick around doing something you can't stand doing. Part of the benefits of accepting invitations and saying yes is you'll find out where you don't want to be and who you don't want to be with. Don't hang around people you don't like. That's a very important piece of advice there. Let's see. So I would say number 7. Okay, let's make this number 7. Notice wherever you are, who values you, who appreciates what you do, who appreciates your talent and your expertise, and stay close to them. Hang around them. Make friends, learn about them, get to know their work. And we'll talk about this in the next video. The number 1 key of your success as a Bohemian business person and as a Bohemian is to stick around people you like. Enjoy the company of people who appreciate you. And we'll be talking about this in our next video when we talk about how to cultivate relationships. See you there.